Hello and a warm welcome to everyone joining Council this evening at 6:30 for the State of the Town report. As we always do, I would invite everyone to rise to join Council in O Canada. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. And please be comfortable. In 1820, Indigenous people here began welcoming settlers from all over the empire. Soon, they were helping slaves escaping from the United States to settle here, too. Today, our Indigenous founding partners are still here enjoying this land with us. They fish and camp under their treaty rights. Indigenous people in their thousands also live with us as neighbors and friends. Our Indigenous, white, and Black settlers created a community with an attractive degree of harmony and prosperity. In 1857, Ontario gave official recognition of Oakville as a town. At Town Hall, all these years later, we fly the flag of the Mississaugas of the Credit beside the flags of Oakville, Ontario, and Canada. We fly these flags together to acknowledge our origins. People from all over the world are attracted to the livability that we have created. We offer newcomers a warm spirit of welcome. We offer everyone our founding story so that everyone knows what we are part of. We feel sorrow and distress for acts of racism and intolerance suffered across Canada and here at home. We want our future to be equitable and inclusive for all. The path of truth and reconciliation can unite everyone. Please keep well, stay safe, and let us on Council know of any chance to be helpful to you and yours. Please let us know anytime you can help increase Oakville's harmony, prosperity, and livability. Madam Clerk, are there any regrets for this meeting?
There are no regrets for tonight's meeting.
All right, thank you. This meeting is a special, well, it's not a special meeting, but this meeting is called for the purpose of the State of the Town report. And the first and only discussion item on the agenda is the Mayor's Annual Status Report, which is publicly published and in the agenda. Madam Clerk, are there any delegations for this report?
We do have one registered delegation, Don Terrius Mitchell. I'm not sure if this person is in the audience. Our registered delegation is having technical difficulties at this time. Would you like to move on, or?
Well, we only have one thing, so we either advise him that he's welcome to submit his comments by email or other means. We'll give you a minute to see if you can help him. Well, Madam Clerk, perhaps the gentleman can be told that his comments are welcome to be submitted in whatever other means will work for him, and we will proceed if there are no other delegations. Yes.
While we're waiting, I'm just wondering if there's any other delegations in the audience. Oh, I think none, Jill? Okay. I think we might have contact. Yes, it's coming. She's letting him in now.
Great.
Hey guys, I just want to say, one of my students made fun of one of my coworkers because she decided to wear prosthetic breasts and go into school. And I just want to talk about the bigotry and the racism that people are facing, especially these young kids. We have a whole culture of transphobia. Now, we have the idea that, people are more accepting of the gender reassignment surgery or hormone replacement therapy, but that's not the case. So my colleague, when she came in to class, people were calling her big boobs, gazungas, and all these perverted words, but they were saying it in a way that was very derogatory and almost non-sexual, meaning that it was still safe for school. And as an administrator, as a faculty member, I cannot stand here and let transphobia be infected into our youth. Because listen, if somebody want to walk in to our school and they want to have big fake prosthetic breasts, we need to encourage that. We need more people wearing prosthetic breasts. I mean, if you look at guys like Jeffrey Epstein, he was a bad guy. Now, he was a child predator, and I know he flew with Bill Clinton 26 times on the Lolita Express, but they had a good point. Jeffrey Epstein had a good point, is that everybody likes breath. And I think
Sir,
the teachers trying to
sir,
talk about breath. Yes?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
the schools are completely independent of town council. We
not
really have
necessarily
no authority whatsoever there, and I appreciate your desire to express yourself, but you really can't hijack the council meeting for something that you should be taking to the school board.
No, and this is who I want to take it. I want to actually go all the way up to Trudeau. I think we need to go up to the top politicians, but we have to start here. It's a stepping stone. It's a ladder. You don't just stop to the top rung of the ladder. You have to climb it. So now if we can get your awareness, because these people they've teased.
Sir,
they're making fun
sir,
of
there is a ladder,
themselves.
but the council is not on that ladder. It leads from the school board to the Ministry of Education, and from there to the legislature, and from there to Parliament. So I'm trying to assist you and also to restore order to the meeting. And so I regret that we can't allow you to continue.
These students.
I totally understand that he has a passionate view, and I hope he heard and accepted my attempt to give him helpful advice about where the ladder is that he wants to climb. And for better or for worse, it's not here. All right. Council, it's been my pleasure for 16 years to present this report and to speak to it. And tonight, I want to share with you a few thoughts about the report. 2022 is shaping up as a year of growing recovery and re-engagement with each other. Community life is growing hearty again. The pandemic is becoming part of the health landscape. It's still random in its effects on people. It's still deadly for some. It's the worst flu ever for some. And in others, it's hard to notice. In Oakville, we protected each other during the pandemic. Our death toll from the virus is the lowest when we look at our GTA neighbors. The US death toll is 6 times higher than ours. The pandemic made us use and value our outdoor spaces more than we ever did. And we have always valued and used our outdoor spaces more than others. This year, Council and I have launched a new goal for a 2,000-acre eco-park. Outdoor spaces are precious, and the opportunity we see now may not be there later. For comparison, Central Park in New York is 800 acres, and High Park in Toronto is 400 acres. Vancouver's Stanley Park is 1,001 acres. Residents tell us that the qualities that make Oakville livable are our trails, parks, our waterfront, and our green spaces. As part of my update, I'm pleased that we're on track to reaching our goal of a 40% tree canopy. Our town-wide tree canopy coverage has reached 31.2%. This is more than Edmonton, Vancouver, or Victoria, British Columbia. The town's next urban forest management plan update will be released in early 2023. It will include recommendations to ensure the growth and sustainability of the town's urban forest. Residents and local businesses will have a key role to play in reaching our 40% goal by 2057, our 200th anniversary as a town. Last week, I joined a team from Siemens Canada who planted 300 more trees in our community. Ever since Siemens moved here, their employees have turned out as volunteers and have planted thousands of trees to help us with our goal. They are a fine example of good corporate citizenship and volunteerism. In fact, the town is partnering with Siemens to conduct an energy audit of our transit facility. Siemens' expertise has saved companies millions of dollars a year in energy efficiency. Naturally, those who work outdoors for us have earned a deeper appreciation than ever before. Our town staff showed great dedication to our community throughout the pandemic. An organization is only as strong as its people. We can be proud of how our great staff care about our community and deliver the services. To our emergency responders, trainers and prevention officers in fire, our municipal enforcement officers, our inspectors, and our staff and our crews in roads and works, parks and open space, and transit, we thank you. As well, thank you to our recreation and culture staff who created new programs that continued to engage our community through the pandemic. Many staff, like many residents, had to adjust to a remote work model and learn new ways to get things done. You, as residents, told us that you were amazed and happy with the service staff delivered. Your compliments meant a lot to them and to council. Town leaf collection, snow clearing, parks maintenance, recreation, road resurfacing, and municipal enforcement when you called for help were all top of class this year. These services are among the most important parts of a good place to live. Now, against all odds and a global pandemic, the past 4-year term of council has been the strongest term of any council. Our citizen survey showed 93% of residents are satisfied with Town of Oakville services. The majority of residents said Oakville is a better place to live than other parts of the GTA. And 8 in 10 residents said they would recommend the town as a place to live. For the 4th year in a row, Oakville was listed among the top 20 regions of Canada's best locations to invest by Site Selection magazine. Our economic development plan and economic recovery plan have resulted in new company arrivals, facility expansions at existing companies, and new jobs created. The biggest economic news, of course, is the saving of the Ford assembly plant to make electric vehicles for the world. The director for international government affairs at the Ford Motor Company recently said, and I share this with pride, quote, "The plan to build EVs in Oakville Assembly would not have been possible without Mayor Burton's support and the support of council. Thank you, Mayor Burton, for your ongoing commitment to see Oakville as a manufacturing hub for the 21st century," unquote. Now, success requires us to know who we are and what we're supposed to do as a town council. We are a municipal service delivery corporation created by the legislature of Ontario. The legislation that creates us is very clear about what our lane is. The Municipal Act says it is the role of council to represent the public and to consider the well-being and interests of the municipality, to develop and evaluate the policies and programs of the municipality, to determine which services the municipality provides, to ensure that administrative policies, practices, and procedures and controllership policies, practices, and procedures are in place to implement the decisions of council. to ensure the accountability and transparency of the operations of the municipality, including the activities of the senior management of the municipality, to maintain the financial integrity of the municipality, and to carry out the duties of council under this or any other act. And there, in that last clause, is where the trouble usually rises when councils don't want to follow those other acts. And I'll speak about that later in this talk. Every member of council is proud of the town's success at getting debt and taxes under control. We introduced performance-based budgeting, and our results have grown better and better as we've kept at it. In this term of council, 4 years, our introduction of this modern corporate financial tool has really paid dividends. Inflation is totaling almost 14% so far this 4-year term of council, and our total 4-year tax increases are less than 6.7%. It averages 1.67% a year, and the Bank of Canada's target rate for inflation is 2% a year. Our tax increase was only 1.5% this year. Debt is limited by the legislature to only what can be paid off with no more than 25% of our current revenues. Our debt is carried by less than 6% of our revenues. And we carry most of our debt with dividend income earned by town businesses and not paid by property taxes. All town debt used to be on the property tax. The town's external and independent auditor, KPMG, confirmed this year, as they have every year for the last 30 years, in fact, that the town has accurate reporting and that key internal controls are in place and working. The independent auditor's report was published in our annual report. I've lived here almost 30 years, and I cannot remember, nor can the finance commissioner, seeing the town ever not getting a clean audit opinion. And I think that says something about the professional quality of our staff. And I know that council and I are very proud of them. Each member of council brings the needs of the ward that they represent to the council and committee tables. This year and this term, here are examples of what members have achieved together. Beth Robertson. Traffic safety measures for Lakeshore Woods and Colonel Williams Parkway to address key residential concerns were a key goal for her. Sean O'Meara. Regional infrastructure from the Waterfront Promenade, the Wycroft Bridge, and the Burl Oak Underpass are the big ones for him, all of which are going ahead. Ray Chisholm is pleased with the popularity of Oakville's first outdoor refrigerated hockey rink. Oakville's first ever separated on-road bike lane is also located in his Ward 2. Kathy Duddock's point of local pride is the new EMS station on Woodside Drive. There are also 14 new assisted rental units for seniors and assisted independent living units for those with community supports. Janet Haslett-Thiel appreciates the incredible difference that the downtown revitalization has made in support of our BIA, our business community, and our Oakville residents who have flocked to the new, much more livable and enjoyable environment there. Dave Giddings is proud that the opening of the Oakville Trafalgar Community Center has been incredibly well received. And in response to safety concerns, community safety zones in Ward 3 have been doubled. Peter Longo says he's most happy with our approval of 2 mobile automatic speed enforcement photo radar systems for each ward. Alan Elgar points to his active role in saving the Glen Abbey Golf Course from development this term. It gives him a big sense of pride. As a green champion, Councillor Elgar is pleased that the town is on track to meet and exceed our 2030 climate change targets, 20% reduction in energy use and 30% reduction in carbon emissions, with reductions so far of 24.7% and 29.3% respectively over our baseline. Mark Grant is a strong proponent of public transit and accessibility. So he's happy that in addition to modernizing and electrifying our transit fleet, 249 bus stops in Oakville will be upgraded to ensure full accessibility. Kids 12 and under ride free on Oakville Transit. Oakville Transit gives free Wi-Fi for all riders. And Oakville Transit fare is also free when connecting to or from GO Transit service with a simple tap of a Presto card. And 2022 also marks Oakville Transit's 50th anniversary. Jeff Knoll and Ward 5 residents have enjoyed the upgrades at the River Oaks Community Center, including the replacement of the refrigeration system for Rink B. Oakville Public Library has also expanded services with the addition of Oakville Public Library Express locations at River Oaks and across town. Oakville Public Library Chair Knoll and staff are also working on the new library in North Oakville that will be completed in 2024 with the new community center. Natalia Lischina singles out our notice to the province that we will buy the parkway lands in the Joshua Creek watershed when our lease expires so that we can continue using them for recreation, including for the Crusaders Rugby Club. Tom Adams is proud that we got the former regional reservoir lands on Trafalgar for a future park to serve the growing uptown area and existing residents. Jasvinder Sandhu has been an advocate for Ward 7 and will be a huge loss for council. She led a panel on getting more diversity in local politics at our recent municipal conference in Ottawa. The town's Diversity and Inclusion Action Plan will carry on her good work on this important issue. Pavan Parmer is happiest for us bringing forward the state-of-the-art community center on Nayagawa Boulevard, fully funded and set to open in 2024. The new park will feature a high-quality, tournament-ready cricket pitch, 2 additional lit sport fields, a skateboard park, 4 lit tennis courts, 7 lit pickleball courts, 4 lit sand volleyball courts, a splash pad, a children's playground, and more. The community center will be the 7th serving our 7 wards. In 2006, when I became mayor, we had 3 community centers for 6 wards. Some of the biggest things we've done and will do in future are made possible by the accomplished business people who serve on the board of directors of Oakville Enterprises. Big things like making possible our great new hospital by covering 25% of the costs of the hospital's local share funding through dividend income earned by enterprises. But they also have set us up to do more big things. Their dividend income is growing so well that we now can afford the new Performing Arts Center, the new main library, and the galleries that we've long needed to keep up with our past growth in our picturesque downtown. We are all excited by the supercharged capabilities of Oakville Enterprises. Oakville Enterprises has almost $50 million of new working capital to grow our dividend income even faster, thanks to our alliance with Enbridge. Our model for Oakville Enterprises is to do what the City of Edmonton did with its utility 25 years ago. They put business people to work on creating dividend income for Edmonton to reduce pressure on taxes. They did pretty well. Last year, Edmonton received a dividend from its utility of $177 million. We will be able to keep pressure on taxes down while we use dividend income to grow even more livable. Of course, there are some livability goals that can't and were never meant to be solved by municipalities or the property tax, and particularly not acting alone. For example, child poverty. We are all glad the federal government acted to cut in half the poverty rate for children from 4.7% in 2020, down from 9.4% in 2019. and we expect the new National Child Care Plan will save parents in Oakville $14,800 a year for an infant's care. We feel listened to. We advocated for the creation of accessible, quality, and affordable child care spaces for Ontario families and encouraged the federal and Ontario governments to reach the agreement that now will deliver affordable child care and let more women get into the workforce. Motions that I moved or seconded on this important issue passed unanimously at Town Council, Halton Regional Council, and at a meeting of Ontario's big city mayors. Here in Oakville, we have created the capacity and laid a strong foundation to face the future with confidence in ourselves. Our future is growing, literally. Growth is a top-down, provincially led process with minimum targets set and enforced by the province of Ontario. The Ontario Growth Plan work was begun under the Mike Harris, Ernie Eves government, and first enacted by the Dalton McGuinty government, then strengthened by the Kathleen Wynne and Doug Ford governments. All parties in the legislature support the Ontario Growth Plan. For that matter, all parties support the recommendations of the Housing Affordability Task Force. Some individuals and special interest groups want to go farther than those recommendations. They are being, in my view, and I believe in Council's view, unnecessarily reckless with recommendations to do away with our stable established neighborhoods protections that are in our official plan. We have grown consistently for the last 16 years throughout the Ontario Growth Plan without ever saying no to growth. For 16 years, we have shown we know how to grow livable without wrecking the Oakville lifestyle. 16 years ago, we created the Livable Oakville Plan in order to grow more livable than we did before. In fact, we know that growth is good if we use it to grow more livable. Oakville has always grown. After World War II, when the Ford Auto Assembly Plant was built here, growth really took off. Over the last 16 years, Oakville's growth plan has fully complied with provincial population and job targets. Over the next 30 years, the province has set even faster growth targets than it set in its original growth plan for the GTA. Our growth will therefore be faster, but not as fast as it was between 1990 and 2006, when town services and facilities fell so far behind. Nowadays, we keep up. The province has always set targets for new homes. In this last term, we met those targets for mixed and affordable housing. Resale values have been rising even when other places' prices have paused or sunk. That is a testimonial to how livable buyers consider Oakville. And for the vast majority of homeowning Oakville, those rising values have been a comfort. We also beat provincial targets for job growth by 10%. This council has set down a highly livable foundation for our future growth. We have directed growth to our main transit routes and nodes. That's in accord with the province's plan. The province also has created a super growth node around the Oakville GO station. They call it the Oakville Urban Growth Center. The province's vision is for tall buildings and very high density there. People there will rely less on cars and more on GO trains and transit in the province's vision. This provincial vision of towers around GO stations is baked into the Ontario Growth Plan. That growth plan is an act of the legislature. It's not optional. Every GTA municipality has an urban growth center. We've been publicly working on the planning for this urban growth center since it was enacted by the legislature in 2006. Our goal is to make ours the most livable urban growth center. We need to get on with it. If we don't enable the required growth there, the province has the legislative power and the willpower to open up our protected, stable, established neighborhood streets to intensification and still order all of the intensification that the growth plan calls for in the area around the Oakville GO station. So we'll still get the high density around the GO station, but we'll lose our stable, established, protected neighborhoods. This is a big deal. It's a threat. And I know the vast majority of Oakville do not want densification of their stable, established neighborhood streets. The enhanced minister's zoning orders used this April in Markham, Richmond Hill, and Vaughan to get development going around transit stations there, were the wake-up call for the rest of the GTA about foot dragging. As I summarize this final year of this 4-year term of office, I'm proud that Council and I have laid a great foundation for the work that is in front of our town. We can keep the Glen Abbey Golf Course saved. Only if a future council repeals our bylaws can we lose Glen Abbey. We can keep Halton's remaining farmland as farmland as long as future councils hold the line. We have the funding in place to finish adding to the 16-mile sports fields next year and open the new community center the year after. We can have the future we want for our families, our seniors, our businesses, and ourselves. We just have to keep our civic energies dedicated to being Canada's most livable town. 2022 has been an amazing year of change and growth and hope for the future. As the entrepreneur who created YTV against the odds, I always face the future with optimism and courage and a spirit of innovation. Let me close with a quote from Bob Dylan. He was a singer in the 60s. I don't expect that everybody's heard of him. But he had a wonderful line. He said, "If you're not busy being born, you're busy dying." And that's why I always say, keep moving forward. And that is the English meaning of the town's official motto, Avance. The spirit of Oakville is that the best is always yet to come. We have only just begun creating the always more livable community that we all want. Let's resolve to grow Oakville ever more livable by working together to get it right and get on with it. Thank you very much for your attention to these remarks. Council, it would now be in order for a mover and seconder to receive the Mayor's Annual Oakville Status Report. Councillor Longo and Councillor Knoll, thank you. Any objection? Madam Clerk, there's no objection, and that's carried unanimously. We have no new business that I know of. Are there any regional reports or questions regarding town boards and advisory committees? Madam Clerk, there are none. I'm not aware of any requests for reports, and that brings us to the moment when it would be in order for someone to move and second consideration and reading of the confirmatory bylaw. Councillor Robertson and Councillor Adams, thank you. Is there any objection? Madam Clerk, there being no objection, the bylaws are considered and read. Thank you very much for your time and attention and your attendance tonight. And I look forward to seeing you in half an hour or so when we resume meeting with a new council meeting. Thank you, everybody. That ends this meeting.